If you were a kid in the 90s, then you remember the Power Rangers. It was an absolute phenomenon. It was hard to get away from. In all fairness, I was maybe a year or two a little too old for them at the time. I would still watch it. It would be on after school. I'd watch it here and there because, it was just on all the time practically. But I never really got any of the toys. I very rarely played any of the video games at the time. It's something I have memories of, but it's not something I ever had a huge amount of nostalgia for. It wasn't like the Ninja Turtles years before, which I loved, or even before that He-Man when I was really little, which I adored. The Power Rangers was just kind of a thing that, I watched a little bit of it. I actually really liked the Green Ranger stuff at the time. But in the last couple of years, it's made quite the comeback. It had that theatrical movie reboot that got mixed reviews. And over at Boom Studios, there's some Power Ranger comics going on, which are pretty good. 2 ongoing series, actually. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Go-Go Power Rangers. The one, like Go-Go Power Rangers is like a kind of a year one thing, and I don't really know. I only kind of followed them on and off, but from what I've read, they're both pretty good. And there was a Justice League Power Rangers crossover miniseries that was damn good. But anyways, it got me thinking about the basic structure of the original show, because I did watch enough of it. I know the basic structure. So there'd usually be a monster that would come down. Rita Repulsa would send him down, or that dude with the Z on his head. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
I am Lord Zed, Emperor of all I see.
But they'd send down this monster, and it would be like a human-sized monster. And the Power Rangers would go and they'd fight it for a while. And then the monster would get all Godzilla-sized, and they'd hop in their Zords, and they'd fight the monster that way. As a kid, I always wondered, why didn't they ever try and fight the monster, separately? As the Zords separately? That seemed like it'd be a good strategy, 5-on-1. Or is that they turn into a tank before they turn into a Megazord, so they never did anything with the tank. Now, as an adult, I realized, that's the limitations of the show. You can't, it's easier to just put a guy in a Megazord costume. But another thing that always, even as a kid, would always make me think, what? So, without fail, they'd fight the monster would go giant, they'd get in the Zords, and fight the monster like that. But why don't you just get in the Zords from the get-go, when the monster is still normal person size, and go step on his ass? That's what I'd do. Or better yet, I don't even need all the Zords. You just give me Kimberly's pterodactyl Zord, and I'll just drone strike his ass, Seems like that's how you solve that problem. Although, come to think of it, wasn't the monster usually just hanging out in a field, not bothering anybody? Oh man, were the Power Rangers the bad guys?